Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Goldenkopf, I'm looking at a chart. There's some graphs from your 2016 Federal Employees Performance Rating Report, and it's a pie chart, pie graph, I should say. It says 38.8% of federal employees were fully successful, 27.4% were exceeded fully successful, and 33.1% were outstanding. It said only 0.1% of all federal employees were unacceptable performance. You familiar with this chart, this pie chart?
Sure. It's sort of the Lake Wobegon approach to performance management, where everybody is strong and above average.
Not everybody. Well, yeah, you're right, everybody. 99.9% of all federal employees got, I mean, if you think about back in school, looks like, you know, got an A minus, an A, or an A plus. I mean, I've never seen a classroom like that ever.
Exactly, and we have said that that is problematic and certainly inconsistent with some leading practices on performance management that we have developed. One of them is making meaningful distinctions in performance. And I think, you know, the root cause of this and what's so important is that, you know, you could make it easier to fire poor performers, and obviously there needs to be some improvements there, but on the front end, the performance management process needs to be improved. Supervisors need to do their jobs, for one thing. They need to be able to realistically rate employees based on their performance.
Yeah, I'm just looking from the practical constituent kind of perspective that I would think the good folks in the 4th District of Ohio would look at it. If you got 99.9% of the workforce getting an A, I think our constituents want to know why they have to wait 8 weeks to get their passport, or why when they call the IRS, only 30% ever got to talk to a actual person when they called into the call center. I mean, if we got the greatest workforce in history, you would think the taxpayers would get a little better treatment than they do. Let me turn to Ms. Gressler. Ms. Gressler, is it true that, so if I got the gist of what you guys said, overall pay for federal employees is higher than that in the private sector? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Significantly higher, like 17%. Wasn't that what someone said in one of the studies, your study?
CBO compensation was 17%
17%
total. I believe
higher.
we found about a 22% just for the pay component. We found about 30 to 40% for total compensation.
So they get paid better. Are their benefits better for the folks who work in the federal government?
The benefits are the significant part of the compensation bonus. Yes.
Right.
A lot of that's the health care and the pensions.
Yeah, so they get cheaper health insurance than the average American gets.
And significantly greater pension benefits.
Get paid better, better pension, cheaper health care, better overall benefit package, sick leave, all those kind of things, right? And you can't fire them, right?
Yes.
And 99.1% of them get an A minus, an A, or an A plus in their performance. Wow, that's amazing.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that you see the quit rate among federal employees is 1/5 that from the private sector.
Yeah.
Once they're in there, they're not going to leave.
Well, yeah, you can't blame it for that, I guess, but this is just phenomenal for me to think. And then to add insult to injury, all that, better pay, better benefits, better and cheaper health insurance. They can't get fired. My guess is the reason you got 99.9% getting these successful more than fully successful in these ratings is because that allows them to jump up and pay quicker, right?
That's the biggest thing we found is that moving up those with those effectively automatic pay increases, they move up more quickly.
Exactly. And all that's going on, and at the same time you had the agency I like to cite from time to time, the IRS, which, again, targeted people. I mean, so the folks like Lois Lerner were getting all this and targeting Americans exercising their First Amendment liberties. And just on a practical side, people calling in, trying to get customer service, trying to get answers to their questions during tax season, only a third of them can even talk to a real person. Yeah.
And I would just add that for federal employees, yes, they have a big compensation premium, but they're not all just sitting there happy and taking in this premium. I think a lot of them are really frustrated with the structure because it's not rewarding those good performers. And because it's so difficult for federal managers to get rid of a poor performer or to even demote them or do anything to improve their performance, those people sit there and it's the high performers that are having to do their job you know, they're doing the work of two people to make up for that fact, and they're not rewarded for it.
Yep, yep, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
I thank